Hey, before we get into the video, I forgot this clip, so I thought I'd just put it at the beginning of how to get there, because you'll see I just teleport with the amulet, or the Pendant of Eights, to Kistori. That's usually the quickest way to get there, or you can take the Quetzal to Tal Teklin, and then walk east. Awesome. And then also, once you're in this lift platform, this is kind of a pro tip to help you save some time. You can go into this chest, pull out 2 teleporters. You can put one here, and one up here. And then you can just use it to teleport between the two. Awesome. Enjoy the video. Hey, what's up? I wanted to do an educational gameplay video on the Delve boss for Doom. And we'll get started here. As a pre-pot, I usually just do an Angler and a Divine range pot. I normally don't bring a Divine just because the boss involves a lot of brewing as you get into later waves, unless you just bring hard food. So anyway, we'll talk about gear setups while we're walking out there. Basically, I am rocking Void, and the T-bow is best in slot here. The Scorching Bow definitely isn't bad either. And then for the staff, I'm using the Eye of Ayak. You can either use a Skull Scepter or even a Slayer staff for auto-casting the Demon Bane spell. I would recommend the lower Demon Bane spell so that you can brew down and still use it. I think it's like 82 versus 62 magic or something like that. And then the Halley is just for proccing the shield phase when it's praying range and mage. Also ZCB is kind of like the best spec weapon here. I usually just rip one at the beginning of every single phase. And then later waves we'll talk about how to actually time some specs better. Emberlight's just my melee weapon. So here, wave 1, I'm just going to use double death charge and rip off a ZCB spec, and then you can start hitting some of these grubs right away to try and get some spec back. And you want to kill these before they go in. It reduces some damage in later waves, so try not to let them in. So as you saw there, it was praying mage and range. So basically my goal is to hit it with a melee weapon before the yellow bar fills up and it will explode. Same thing here. Also the boulders that are coming out. So that was a blue boulder. So that's kind of like the auto attack. Oh, this is like the auto attack, just these orbs coming. But the boulder is basically you need to try and move like 3 tiles like I am right now. So that you're like automatically moving when it pops. There's going to be shadows on the ground that you need to dodge. So most of wave 1 is this. If it's a blue bowl, it will be a mage first, coming out of the boulder. And if it's range, it will. If it's green, it'll be range first. Also, let's talk about the flower phase real quick. So basically, you saw this flower spawn. Basically, like if you shoot one far, that's going to be like your destination. And if you, like the second tile here that I'm marking, this could be like the second one that you shoot. That's like your source. So basically, it's like your source and your destination. The first one that you shoot, you'd want to shoot one far. That's where you're going to go, and then you're going to kind of walk with it like this. So another thing that you can do is you can like, if you want to like attack the boss while doing that, you can kind of click the boss and then like run to catch up. But I usually just do a control walk so that you can kind of walk with the jelly. Okay, phase 2 here. It's mostly the same thing. Again, just do ZCB off the rip, double death charge. There's a blue ball, so now there's going to be in level 2. There's going to be 2 orbs that come out of the boulder. So it's blue, so it's going to be mage first and then range. Make sure you're proccing your double death charge with these grubs. So you're going to get like the melee attack and the boulder at the same exact time. Again, just try and pre-move while that boulder is about to pop. So I usually try and go like 3 or more tiles while it's in the air, so that like I can have time to dodge it and see if I'm going to land on a shadow while I'm moving. Wave 3, we're going to see a couple new mechanics here. But same thing, I don't have my spec back, so I'm going to use a surge pot here. which will help. Sometimes if I don't, if the earlier waves are going a little bit quick, I'll use a Surge Pot just so that I have a ZCB. So level 3 still has 2 orbs, so it's a green ball, so it's going to be range and then mage. And now it introduces this shield phase. So basically the goal is to not let that yellow bar fill up all the way. And there's going to be grubs that are walking into Doom to try and heal him, and it also does damage to you. But if you shoot them while they're within 1 tile of Doom, they explode and do 100 damage to him. Also, if you are using a Demon Bane spell, you can just hit the boss to reset the yellow bar with the Demon Bane spell. But since I'm not auto-casting, the eye actually doesn't help with that. Noctali is nice here just so you don't need to go all the way into melee range. But yeah, that's one downside about the Eye of Iac is like it is nice to be able to mage a grub and then also reset the boss at the same time. If you're using the Iac, like you need to switch back to your Scorching Bow or your Emberlight. So here's the flower phase. So I'm going to shoot far to the one that I want to go to. That's my destination. The second one that I shoot is my source, and basically I'm going to control walk with it. And then since you control walk, you don't really need to think about movement, so you can just focus on praying against the boulders and the orbs that come out. And then other than that, it's a lot of just movement, this boss, praying against the boulders and such. 31 HP, you might use a Scorching Bow here because it's more accurate against the boss in general. But I actually did an overheal there. So you see all the blue vials. That is if you end with a melee attack. When he's praying mage in range in that shield phase, there's going to be vials that kind of spawn all over. They give you HP and a couple prayer points as well. So that's kind of like an overkill tactic. I think this is wave 4. Yep, so start off with the ZCB. Same thing as normal. Going into shield phase here, they're going to pray against 2 things. So this one is not praying against range, so I'm going to Scobo it. I usually don't like to get these melee ones that I'm about to kill right now all the way to delve. Sometimes I will just kill them while they're a little more out because I don't love getting in melee range. So like here I'm going to go chase this one down like since it's already about to exit the shield phase anyway. So now it's going to be 3 orbs. So 1, 2, 3. They alternate. So if it's a blue, it's going to go mage, range, mage. And then there can be an additional auto coming from delve as well. Like this. So there's 4. So it's range, mage, range, melee. Flower phase, first one I'm going to shoot is where I'm going to, but since he only has 3 HP, I'm going to use the accuracy of the Scorching Bow to try and just phase him to the next level. A couple big T-bow hits here. So I'm going to ZCB him right before 75% when he goes into shield phase, so that when he gets out of shield phase, his HP is actually lower. So he goes into that shield phase at 75%, but I got him way lower, which is nice. I meant to hit him with a demon demon weapon there, otherwise it doesn't reset that yellow bar. So hitting him with a Halley was a mistake there. And we're just going to do the shield phase thing, and then this is level 5, so this is when you're going to see car phase for the first time. So basically, when you get out of shield phase, very soon here, he's going to go into like car mode, people call it. So basically, he's going to drive at you, and he's going to drop a yellow boulder on the ground, which means that's where he's going. He's made up his mind of where he's going, and then you want to move out of the way. So now I'm going to move. And then you kind of want to think about like, where's the next place that I want to go to. You kind of want to be planning ahead if you can. So 44 HP, I have an option here. I'm wondering if I can like maybe out DPS him. But I can also just DPS while in the flower phase, which helps too. The center of the jelly clears acid, so that's one tactic for later waves. Let's get into wave 6. So let's talk about these tiles here. Basically, there is an option to kind of like what people call park the car. It used to be a bug, but essentially what you want to do is start on the rock tile, and when he throws a boulder out, you're going to move and then get ready to pray against the attacks. But basically, wherever the boulder lands, where you are is where a rock is going to spawn, and basically that rock will like absorb the first explosion from Doom. So what you'll see is if you're like not behind a rock, or if he doesn't have a rock directly under him, that there's going to be an explosion that comes out. So basically, start on the rock tile. Once you're out of shield phase, I'm going to try and go on one of these 5 tiles here, which will make him go to the rock tile, and then you can stand on like the sand tile or anywhere over on one of the sides, and basically you won't see the explosion. So you'll see it in action here in a moment. But that's generally how the tiles work. And if one side gets rigged, you can go to the other side as well. So my goal here is to get him just above 75% and then proc a ZCB. So I'm going to save it here. So you saw that the boulder, I waited until the boulder popped and then I moved. So he's 80%. I could ZCB here, but I don't have ZCB, which is fine. So you mostly just want to keep moving as these boulders are popping. Like, it's hard to react to it, so I usually like to try and like pre-move if I can. So then we're just going to do shield phase as normal, and then I'm going to think about trying to get over to those 5 tiles. That 2 of them are regged right now on the east side. And then there's going to be 3 explosions in the car phase. 3 different like rounds of him driving somewhere with an explosion tag after. So shield phase is done. I'm going to try and get over here. You can squeeze 1 extra attack in, or you could do a ZCB there. And then he shoots out orbs while he's moving too. This is 2 attacks there. And then I'm going to think about my next position. I'm going to just try and get him against this wall, and then I'm going to go opposite of him and just try and get behind this boulder way over here. And then always after car phase is going to be flower phase, but you can just out DPS it there. So you could use some of these flowers to clear acid if you wanted to. Like, I'll show you. Oh, they just vanished, never mind. But it would have cleared the acid that I'm on right now and walked sort of this path. Sometimes the flowers stick around after the phase is done. Let's get into wave 7. It's really similar to wave 6, but the thing is that the boulders, the orb attack comes really fast at you. Gonna try and set up the parked car, as people called it. So I'm gonna wait till the boulder cracks and then move, and then I'm gonna go melee him. And those 3 orbs are just fast. So I'm gonna ZCB here because I'm right above 75%. This is a great ZCB time. And then sometimes you get that extra melee proc attack in there too. But that doesn't always happen. Into shield phase as normal. And seeing as they do 100 damage, I'm going to try and position myself to the east, because I know that shield phase is coming to an end here. And it's kind of okay if I need to let some of these in, like these last two melee ones. I'm not going to run all the way back to melee them, so it's fine. So I'm going to stand here basically until the yellow appears on the rock tile, and then I'm going to move. Pray against 2 orbs here, and then he's going to smash, and the rock under him is going to absorb it. And then you can start moving. You don't need to wait that long to move, but I just did there. So think about where you want him to go next. I want him to go just straight against this wall. And then I'm going to get behind a boulder, pray against the 2 orbs, and repeat. And that's the third one, so now he's going to get out of car phase, and he's going to do his flower phase here. So I'm going to shoot. First one is where I want to go to. Second one is where I want to go from. And sometimes it gets a little difficult. You need to pray and move at the same time. But for the most part, I set up my control walk there, so I don't really need to try and do both at the same time. And then if you still are in the phase after car phase, which you definitely will be with a scorching bow most of the time, sometimes you can skip it with the T-bow, but you're going to go back into shield phase. And basically it repeats for 6 and after, or I think 5 and after. It's basically like shield phase, car phase, follower phase, repeat. And that's why some of these people can do the Doom boss for like the whole entirety of the 6-hour log. It starts to just repeat itself after a while, and if people are super good at it, they can do it. So Void is really good here, by the way, in car phase. So generally you get increased accuracy, which Void gives you like 3 additional max hits. So usually you get out of that car phase pretty quick the second time. Wave 8 is similar to 7. The main thing is you get 2 boulder attacks, which there's 3 orbs that come out of each boulder, right? So basically you need to get ready to pray against 6 different attacks, and if it's like a blue ball, it's still going to start blue. So it's going to be mage, range, mage, and then the second one is going to be the same exact thing. They're going to be the same color, so it's going to be like mage, range, mage, mage, range, mage. I always try and brew up, be full HP, because this is usually the hardest part of the phases at the beginning. So it's 2 greens, so it's going to be green, range, mage, range, and then the same thing. And you can just kind of run like a wild man, like to avoid the shadows on the ground as well. There's also tech where you can like click on a shadow because it can't go to the same exact place that a shadow already is. This phase definitely gets some getting used to. But it's 75% there, so I'm going to ZCB and have a really good deep proc into car phase. So I'm going to double death charge here, make sure that I have 75% spec, so that I can try and ZCB going into car phase as well, so that I can try and like guarantee so I'm going to ZCB into here. Now it's better late than never, so that I can get a big hit going into car phase as well, just to try and finish it. So I'm going to go the same exact way. I'm going to just go reverse of him just because there's boulders over here. It's kind of an easy escape. So I did ZCB kind of like 1 attack late, just because my clicks didn't allow me to get there in time. But ideally you can like ZCB him like immediately as he's going into car phase to get that full ZCB proc. So I probably could have got like 20 extra damage out of it or something like that. So that's wave 8 done. Now we're going to do some deep delves, and it's pretty similar to wave 8. Well, the exact same thing really. Is the only difference is the floor is a little more ragged, which is fixable with the jelly. So wait till the boulder pops, and then I'm going to move and mage, range, mage, mage, range, mage. And there's a little bit of a gap between the two, so you can kind of center yourself. So I'm just going to run like a wild man, so I don't really need to think about where the shadows are. It's a decent option. So it's like 100 HP, 160. So what I'm thinking about is getting back to the east side and getting back to my tiles to get him to go to the rock tile. So this is a better ZCB timing here, like immediately as he gets into car phase. Pray against the orbs. And I'm going to go the same exact direction, just because it seems to work out in this run. Usually I'll try and stay against the north wall, and I think most people do, but for some reason I just had the boulders on the south side here this run. You can do flower phase. This is probably the trickiest thing of Delve. So basically you set up your control walk, and then you need to pray against six things, well, ideally moving to dodge the shadows. Remember that middle tile clears acid, so it's usually nice to try and stay with the center of it. Very close to proccing without another shield phase here, but it is what it is. So as you see, I'm still pretty consistent about trying to kill the melee ones kind of like before they get to the boss. I don't need to be that close to the boss. I don't really want to be. But sometimes, like this one, it's okay too as well. I mean, it's better too. It's just kind of a comfort thing for me. So that's level 9 completed. Just brewing back up, make sure I'm potted, restored, everything. Cannonballs are good. Good for irons. Shield face is about 260, so what I'm trying to do is get back to the east side, to my safe tiles. It's okay if a couple get in, get the ZCB ready, and send it. And I'm just going to try and get to the north side of the boss. It looks like the boulders are on the south again, so that is kind of my answer. I also like it because it's a longer stretch that Delve has to come back to you, so you actually have extra time to get some attacks into if you kind of make them path all the way this way again. It's kind of like max range for me. So you can get an extra attack in or something like that. So my north side is actually rigged, and I don't think I even used it, but that is what a rigged example looks like. The rock tile is unusable, so. melee attack there helps you proc a little deeper into shield phase, or the HP for when he enters car phase. He'll be a little lower. Yeah, sometimes you get hit by a rock there, and that's just it's just hard to dodge sometimes. But for the most part, you can still kind of get back in sync and pray against the boulders properly. And if you do need to tank this stomp or the explosion, it's actually not that bad. As you saw there, it's only 37 HP. Could be worse. 6 HP here. I'm going to try and use the accuracy of the Scorching Bow and help me proc into level 12. So I'll probably just have one more level here based on my brewage. So 115, or restore up and range pot, and then yeah, I'll probably be out of range pot, so this will probably be the last one. So some people do like just hard food and go to like wave 8, which is totally fun. But yeah, for this run I choose to just bring some brews and do a little bit of deep delve. So I don't think I explained it, but in 8+, you get 1 fat grub at the beginning of these waves instead of like 1 or 2 small ones. Take a little bit of a beating, but I'm in shield phase. It's okay. I can take my time and brew back up here. It starts to get difficult when a lot of these tiles are rigged. For me, anyway. Some people, I mean, unless you use like the tech where you just like stand under a shadow or move to a shadow, that is kind of like already has a rock falling on it. It can't repeat, so that'll keep you safe. And I'll climb at the end of level 12 here. So thanks for watching.